Hello everyone, the first eclipse cycle of 2021 is nearly upon us. First of all, we have the lunar eclipse, a blood moon, on May the 26th, followed by the solar eclipse on June the 10th. On this video, I have all the details of what they will mean for the world and for your own life. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below, give the video a thumbs up if it's good for you. And let's begin. So will the lunar eclipse of May 26 be visible, everybody? Primarily, this full lunar eclipse will be visible in the Antarctica Circle, in the western side of the USA, southwestern America, Australia, and Southeast Asia. So if you live in these parts of the world, you will definitely see this lunar eclipse. The annular solar eclipse will be visible in parts of Russia, just off the map here, northern Canada and Greenland, but also a partial eclipse visible in northeastern America, northern Europe, and northern Asia. By the way, I do advise that people do not view either the lunar or solar eclipse. It's not generally considered auspicious to do so. Let's look at the astrology, everybody. The 26th of May is when the full moon lunar eclipse, the blood moon, takes place, this time in Scorpio, where the moon at 11 degrees is eclipsed by Ketu, opposed, of course, by Rahu, conjoined the sun, and this time with Venus. Now, every lunar eclipse, you should know, is cathartic. It brings up emotions. It brings up hidden information which you need to know about. But this lunar eclipse is especially potent. In fact, I would say it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. Why is this, everyone? Because the moon in Scorpio is debilitated. It is full of animosity and fear, sometimes jealousy and intrigue. All of these feelings have been there for a long time. They've been festering, and they're going to burst forth around the time of the 26th of May. For how long have they been there? Well, you have to look back to the last solar eclipse. Every lunar eclipse is the culmination of a solar eclipse where everything was hidden. The last solar eclipse was December 2020. So in everybody's life, the ongoing circumstance starting from around December 2020 until now, you will know what it is going to break open now. It's going to explode with new information, maybe secret information, because Scorpio contains secrets. You need to know this. You're going to find out around this time. Anytime up to a week or so before the 26th of May, you're going to know the information. It could be soon or when I post a video, but it's more likely to be near to this date. And this information is going to spark a lot of mental confusion because the moon is the mind, and the mind is eclipsed by Ketu. Furthermore, Mars, who is a dispositor of this lunar eclipse, ruler of Scorpio, is in Gemini, a very talkative sign with the ruler Mercury in the same sign. Mars means dispute, so you can definitely be assured that this emotional overload is going to lead to some arguments around this time, to some deep discord in your life. Be careful about this. It will actually work against you at this time. Instead, what is the solution? The solution lies in the nakshastra. The moon is in Anuradha nakshastra, ruled by Shani. It's a very beautiful nakshastra. It actually means devotion and care. Now, where is Shani in the chart? He is dominating the sky at the moment of this eclipse. Can you see? He is strong in his own sign of Capricorn, retrograde, double strong. He's the strongest planet at this moment, actually. Shani will actually help you out of these emotions. What do you have to do? Rather than over talking, getting into emotional arguments, the best thing is to go within. Meditation and silence. Shani rules silence. So you will have to talk to people because it's going to be, as I say, an emotional overload for many people. But try not to overtalk, because if you do that, you may say things you regret. Shani will help you stay calm at this time. And there's another special factor here, and that is Jupiter in Aquarius, who is actually forming a T-square configuration with the nodes. It's a very powerful configuration. It looks like this, and it means that actually Jupiter has the power to control this eclipse. Or what does Jupiter demand? In Aquarius, Jupiter demands one thing: cooperation with people. Cooperation, not discord. So if you go for as much cooperation as you can, things will calm down quickly and you will feel much happier. This applies in the world as well. Check the video on my channel, Jupiter Aquarius, up until September 2021. I will link below, because this shows us a lot about coronavirus as well. This is a curse of Jupiter. I've said many times, Jupiter contains the cure as well as the curse. Right now, he's not well placed in Aquarius, no matter what you may hear otherwise. Check that video. And now he is in this square configuration here. He is going to demand absolute cooperation between nations, sharing of vaccines, sharing of medication, everything. If it does not happen, things can get worse. In your own personal life, to avoid some of the destruction of this lunar eclipse, cooperation with other people, going along with this Jupiter Aquarius energy, will definitely help you to get through this turbulent emotional time. The solar eclipse follows on the 10th of June. A solar eclipse is a complete darkening of the light of the sun. The sun and the moon are conjunct in a dark moon, but Rahu is eclipsing them. The solar eclipse necessitates a wipeout of some plans or some area in your life so you can start again afresh. The issue is that this particular solar eclipse is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, ruled by Mars, and currently Mars is debilitated in Cancer, opposed by Shani. So these new plans, this new way forward, is going to stall quite a bit before it can take off. So although something is ending in your life, it's not a good time to begin anything. Use this time to plan ahead carefully, keeping everything under wraps as much as you can. Once again, Jupiter is coming between the north and south node, Rahu Ketu, meaning the cooperation is necessary. And another special thing is happening here. Mercury and Venus are in a Parivartana yoga. Mercury in Venus sign and Venus in Mercury sign. This Parivartana exchange between Mercury and Venus can be very auspicious for some signs, less for others. I will discuss that on the video. But what it does mean is that this eclipse has the potential to store up very good opportunities coming up, because Venus is actually the dispositor of this eclipse. And having this very intimate relationship with Mercury, this exchange of signs here, it actually means that information coming to everybody at this time gives you the seed of growth in your life. Very often wealth, because Venus indicates wealth. Let's turn now to see which signs and which Mahadashas are most impacted by these two potent eclipses. If you are Taurus rising or Taurus moon, Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, both of these eclipses are going to impact you very strongly. You're going in a new direction in your life, and these eclipses are the important turning points. If you are in the moon Mahadasha, the lunar eclipse impacts you, and in the sun Mahadasha, the solar eclipse on the 10th of June. If you are in Venus Mahadasha, you're impacted by the lunar eclipse, because Venus is eclipsed, and similarly, Mercury Mahadasha people are impacted strongly by the June the 10th solar eclipse. Those of you in Rahu and Ketu Mahadasha are always impacted strongly by every eclipse cycle. This time, Ketu Mahadasha by the lunar eclipse in May and Rahu by the solar eclipse in June. Let's move on now to the individual sign readings. Don't forget, everyone, to read from your moon sign and your ascendant sign also to get the deepest interpretation. Aries moon and Aries Lagna both. The lunar eclipse is an emotional roller coaster for you, focused on your security and your financial situation. You see Ketu and the moon here in your 8th house. It's all about financial investments, savings, wills, legacies, and the family pressure is intense. It's all to do with decluttering your life, because Rahu for this next year or so has that agenda. When he goes back into your first house, Aries, a whole new life begins for you in 2022. So much from the past has to be released. Moon eclipse is your 4th house lord. Factors connected to your mother, home life, domestic changes, they're all on the agenda, and it's all starting from December last year. So Even though the pressure on you is actually quite intense now, you have to go along with this situation. There may be contention with your siblings though, because the dispositor of this lunar eclipse is Mars in your third house. But it's all to do with letting go of what you don't need anymore in your life. And you definitely have to go along with this. In addition, your spouse is involved in some of this conflict and decision because Venus is your seventh lord and Venus is with Rahu and the Sun at the time of this full moon eclipse. So contention with your spouse, partner may also be there, or business partners, because if you are in business, a dramatic change maybe of location or investments may be necessary. The solar eclipse for Aries takes place in your second house of financial considerations. Many of you may have to actually sign a document or sign away savings or investments or make some big financial change at this time. But I advise caution because Mercury is your third house lord. Signing anything at this time could be precipitous. It could be something which you regret. So just a little time more will help you. Why? Because Mercury is in this Parivartana exchange with Venus in your third house. This third house is not a good Parivartana yoga. You may be misled by circumstances, being overpressured. So take caution at this time. Don't let people push you into a corner. Take time to think about any financial decision at this time. For Taurus, Moon and Lagna, it's a very emotional lunar eclipse for you, 26th of May. It's mightily emotional. You know, in some systems of astrology, Pandit Sanjay Rao school, Moon is also ruler for Taurus. I'll just add that. So when we have your ruler Venus opposing the Moon in this solar eclipse, there's some deep unconscious fears coming to the fore. You're going to feel this. It's emotional. It's to do with the past, relationships, ongoing feeling of stress in any business situation, relationship, spousal situation, or even a close friendship. It's been going on since December. Your spouse may have had bad health. A friend may have had really stressful health situation. And there's been a lot of changes. You've had to let go of the past. And it's coming to a really crescendo now. But there is information which you need to hear. A conversation which you need to have with your nearest and dearest in this way. Or some of you, business partner. And it won't be easy. The solar eclipse for Taurus takes place in your first house. It's about changing your health, changing your diet, even for some of you, taking serious new medication or changing medications, going for alternate cures, etc. Why? Because Mercury is involved in a retrograde state, lord of your second house, food and your diet, and Venus is in a Parivartana exchange, as I've just shown you. Venus is your sixth house lord of health. So a major change in your health, fitness, diet is going to happen at this time. You'll be considering it, but it will be slow to take off. So give it time. As I say, Mrigashira Nakshastra means that you have to give things time. In addition, information coming to you with this powerful Mercury retrograde conjunct this eclipse will give you the necessary factors to build security financially. Mercury is your second house lord. So you will get the courage to make changes and to build up financial security for yourself over the next 6 months. Venus is your lord, and in this Parivartana exchange, first, second house is extremely favorable. You should be able to increase security of your bank account, security of your wealth, very much so between this date and November this year. Gemini Moon, Gemini Lagna. The lunar eclipse takes place in your sixth house of health and conflicts. Ketu and the Moon is very powerful to move you on beyond where you've been stuck for some time. Litigation issues, court cases, conflicts in your workplace and health issues are coming to a crescendo at this time of the lunar eclipse. New information bursts out that really makes you take a good look at your health. You have to take serious action to correct things now. Do not delay. It is the right thing to do. If you have ongoing court cases, litigation, etc., you may have to count losses, some of you. Moon is your second house lord. Financially, it's not so good. You have to let go. You are having huge expenses now with this Venus Rahu Sun in your 12th house. Let go. You're letting things go on too long and it's stressing you out. It's a very stress-making eclipse. You need to find time alone to rejuvenate yourself, and that will definitely happen at the forthcoming solar eclipse. The solar eclipse in your 12th house means one thing, Gemini: you have to cut your losses at this time. Accept that the expenses have got out of control, that the conflicts, litigation, all of the workplace stress has become too much. You need time alone. You need meditation, retreat, relaxation, but most of all, you need to listen to your inner voice. Mercury is your lord. Retrograde, powerfully conjunct to the sun, combust. You will get the deep information you need, maybe in a dream, maybe in a completely unexpected way. This spiritual and personal rejuvenation at this time will put you in a stronger position and improve health matters tremendously, so that by November, when the full moon eclipse occurs again, you will be in a much more stronger position. You will have found what really matters to you, rather than external factors churning you and constantly causing stress. Cancer Moon and Cancer Lagna. Watch out for the effect of the lunar eclipse. When your Lord Moon is eclipsed, you feel it strongly every time. This time, a complete lunar eclipse in your 5th house. Your mind becomes awash with worry, paranoia, concerns. Everything is blown out of proportion. Take care. You are not seeing things as they are. In education, there's a lot of confusion. Are you doing the right thing? Can you even study clearly? Can you learn anything? Moon is your mind. Your mind cannot concentrate at this time, and your studies just begin to go really difficult for you. So if you are studying now, it's a very difficult time to study, but continue on. You will get strength as you just stay calm with meditation and continue, because at the solar eclipse, your complete direction educationally will open up to you slowly. So calmness is definitely needed. Now, family affairs, particularly affairs of children, come to a crescendo at this eclipse. Again, too much worry, too much agitation about things which you cannot control. Children's affairs, let them pan out slowly. You will get new information about ongoing issues with your children that have actually been there since December. They will eventually unravel to be less worrisome than they seem at this moment. And you yourself, because Moon is your Lord, are wanting to do something different, something creative, something outstandingly new. But to do this, you have to let old ways of doing things go. You have a very powerful Rahu-Ketu axis here. Rahu is taking you into new circles. It's all about letting past ways of social interaction go. So, Cancer, at this lunar eclipse, you need meditation, calm, relaxation more than almost any other sign. Do not let your mind control you with unnecessary worry. It will affect your health, and you don't want that to happen. The new moon solar eclipse on the 10th of June brings to you a new path forward. Network circles, friendships, colleagues even in your workplace support you making major changes now. If you are seeking a job, between now and November, you will find it in an unusual location, maybe foreign location or far away from where you are currently working. You will find inspiration from your friendship groups, network circles. You need to start afresh now with a positive view of your future. As I say, doing things differently to the past. So if you've had hiccups with your children, they will eventually start to unravel as new information comes to you on this solar eclipse. But once again, it's about being daring. Rahu in your 11th house favors you every time you do something completely different to the past. So it's all about being daring to move ahead in a new job direction, new educational course, maybe resolving some of the tensions and fears which you've had. So hold tight. You are going to resolve these difficult emotional problems, and financial security should slowly increase between now and November 2021. Leo Moon and Leo Lagna, both your 4th house and your 10th house, are affected by the axis of Rahu and Ketu now. This lunar eclipse, 26th of May, is powerful in your 4th house of home. A domestic change, a complete reshuffle has got to happen now. Some of it may be even against your own will. K2 shows where you are attached to the past. You are having to leave behind many important senses of security now. Home moves have to be made. Circumstances have absolutely necessitated them. Sometimes they are career related, or sometimes they are just coming from family members. There is no choice, you have to move. So leaving past behind is a key factor in this 26th of May, but unexpected information may come to you from your mother or your mother's family at this time also. That is quite difficult for you on some level. Health of your mother also, and concerns around mother's well-being may be there. So it's a very emotional and difficult full moon for you, but stay calm. Life is definitely going to repair a lot of this emotional stress you are experiencing on this lunar eclipse. The new moon solar eclipse takes place in your 10th house. This is a very important turning point for Leo moon and Lagna, because your sun ruler is eclipsed by Rahu in the 10th house of your direction, fame and career. You've got to start afresh. You've got to do something different. Something you've been pinning your hopes on is just not going to work out career-wise. Something which you'd hope to do, some new job, some new career ambition, just cannot go the way you would like. But don't despair. Mercury retrograde conjunct to the sun, combust, is in a parivartanan with Venus in your 11th house. New sources of income, new doors are going to open up between this date and November that will be surprising and will take you to greater wealth, greater happiness, and even fame, some of you. So a door is shutting in your career path. Let it shut. Let it go. New way forward is definitely coming, and listen to your intuition. It is so powerful. Mercury combusts the sun, gives you amazing intuition. Don't listen to other people. Don't let them rock your boat. Yes, you need to close a door behind you, but a new door is surely opening, even if at the time of this solar eclipse it doesn't seem possible at all. It surely will be. So don't make any major decisions. Just let the events of life take you where you need to go next. Virgo moon and Virgo Lagna. This moon K2 full moon eclipse in your 3rd house is going to give mental confusion. Mental stress is going to go through the roof. You are going to feel as though you don't know whether you are coming or going at this time. New information comes to you, maybe from something which you read, maybe on the internet, maybe in a book, maybe information that is told to you, and it's startling. All of a sudden, you are seeing everything completely differently. Confusing and emotional information may be coming also from your siblings now. Try to remain centered and not be affected by other people's emotions. Also, Virgo, don't travel if you can at this time. This eclipse on your 9th, third house makes travel difficult. There will be delays, obstructions. You may lose articles. You are confused in your mind, distracted, and it's not the best time for travel at all. The 10th of June, the solar eclipse occurs in the 9th house of your chart, where your ruler Mercury is involved here in a very strong combustion to the sun, which is eclipsed by Rahu. This is a complete turnaround in your whole direction of life. It's going to be momentous, long-term consequences. First of all, father. Relationships with your father are definitely going to change. Father's life is changing dramatically now. It can be a bit shocking, a bit fearful, but still this is absolutely destined situation. Don't forget that Venus is in Padavatana with Mercury, your Lord. Venus in your 10th house, career. Those of you in education make a dramatic change now. You go on to a completely different educational trajectory, and it's going to be long-term favorable for your prosperity. There is no doubt. For many of you, deeply held religious beliefs, philosophical systems are being revolutionized at this solar eclipse. It won't happen straight away, but between now and November, you will meet a new guru, a new guide, someone who opens your mind to the in-depth religious and philosophical precepts you need to follow. You are definitely revolutionizing your life from an internal level at these eclipses. Finally, those of you who have any involvement with foreign lands in relation to your career, particularly, a complete change of direction is also going to happen. Once again, you will be fearful and feeling that it isn't going to work out. It is, because the Padavatana exchange between Mercury and Venus shows you that any change in foreign land connection, jobs abroad, etc., are going to be favorable for you, even if they seem to have completely stalled at this time. Libra Moon and Libra Lagna. Once again, it's your financial security and your investments, wills, legacies, long-term property deals, and everything to do with feeling secure in life that's being woken up and shaken up by these eclipses. The lunar eclipse 26th of May affects your financial bank balance. Have you really taken account of all of your financial situation? Unexpected factors come up at this lunar eclipse. Don't be shaken though. You are going to integrate any of these situations very well indeed. You may need to cut losses. You may need to live on less. That's the thing. Make do with less. Make cutbacks to get through this time. Emotional confrontations with female family members may also be a factor 26th of May. They are feeling on edge. They are looking to you for comfort, and you don't like these sort of situations. You like everything on an even keel. So you have to put up with some disturbing emotions at this time. But Libra, you always find a way to come out of emotional disturbance, and you definitely will at the new moon eclipse. Everything is cleared around this 10th of June solar eclipse. You make a final decision about financial investments. If you are in business, it's huge. You are wiping the slate clean. It's a new beginning. Maybe foreign factors come in also, because Venus, Mercury, as I've said, have a Padavatana exchange. But because Mercury is in the 8th house, it's not going to look prosperous right now. Prosperity, long-term prosperity, only comes after you make these major cutbacks now. So a business situation needs to be got rid of. Family finances need to be turned upside down and started from scratch. If you do this long-term, it's absolutely excellent. And this is the actual house of occult study knowledge. Some of you, because Mercury is here, will be starting a new course of occult study, which will gain you enormous power and give you great insight. It will start soon after this time and continue up until November. You will make tremendous progress here. Because Venus, your Lord, is in your 9th house currently of higher education, exchanging with this Mercury, as I say. This is a difficult moment for students in higher education. You have to make a dramatic change, which you don't want to make, but you have to stay with this because long term, it's a new beginning for you also. For Scorpio moon and Scorpio Lagna, the full moon eclipse is happening in your 1st house. Your emotions are running high, bursting out around the time of 26th of May. Tension is rising throughout May, and information, as I said at the beginning of the video, which you get is going to be startling. It's going to come from partners, spouse, close friends, associates. You're going to learn exactly what people have been thinking, but they've not been telling you. Venus is with Rahu. Venus is your 7th house lord. So you had an idea that this information was already there, but when you hear it, though, it's still going to be difficult. By the way, a Scorpio moon is going to especially be impacted by this because the moon in your own sign of Scorpio with K2, as you already have a Scorpio moon, it's going to be a deep transformation in your deep, intimate spousal relationships, friendships, and business partnerships. You may feel like other people cannot be trusted anymore, but if you open up your heart and become more vulnerable, understanding may still be possible. Don't forget also that the ruler of this eclipse, Mars, is in the 8th house in Gemini. As I've just explained to you at the beginning of the video, it makes everybody very contentious. So many arguments, emotional upsets are coming to the fore. It will actually affect your health, so you must take time to get away from confrontation. Confrontation won't help you at this lunar eclipse. Meditation, relaxation, going within to find calm is definitely going to help. But resolution will come for Scorpio ascendant and moon at the solar eclipse. It won't come straight away, but you will see the way out. This solar eclipse is changing everything in your relationship situation. It doesn't mean necessarily they are absolutely going to end, but a new focus has to come, and it begins 10th of June. You have to listen to what spouse, partner, business partners, close friends have to say. You have to work with them in a cooperative way, or it's going to leave you feeling isolated completely. Those of you in self-employment or business are majorly affected by the solar eclipse in your 7th house. You have to wipe out a present enterprise. You have to start from scratch, but you can't at the moment because Mercury's Parivartanan exchange with Venus, which is your 7th house lord in the 8th house, shows that you can't get the investments, the backing, the cooperation you need at the moment, but you will do long term. So it feels insecure. It feels like the ground is going from under your feet. But a new venture coming up between now and November will definitely start where your whole business, self-employment situation will be revitalized. Sagittarius moon and Lagna. Since Rahu has been in your 6th house since last year, check my video, of course, Rahu K2 transit, if you didn't see that, September 2020, you have been going full on to deal with the conflicts, difficulties, even co-worker issues and legal factors in your life like nothing else, and you've been very, very successful. Rahu gives you the ability to get on top of so many problems, but here's the thing, Rahu increases the amount of conflicts and problems which you have to deal with. 26th of May, it comes to a crisis point. The lunar eclipse in your 12th house is a point of exhaustion. Watch your health at this time. This could be a real feeling of you just can't do anymore. Mentally and physically, there's a feeling of exhaustion around this Moon K2 transit. Try to avoid confrontation with other people at this lunar eclipse. Mars is in your 7th house. Other people are confrontational, agitating you, and it's making everything worse because they don't know how vulnerable you are. They don't see this because you hide it so well. Time to yourself, retreat, meditation, and avoiding conflict is really important at this time. The new moon solar eclipse, which follows the lunar eclipse on the 10th of June, is going to be very important because it's going to emphasize the sixth house factors, your health, your well-being. The stress and the unexpressed emotions, the real feeling of vulnerability which you have is now coming to the fore. Mercury, your seventh lord, is conjuncting in this eclipse. You need to show your feelings to your partner. You need to have a deep conversation with your spouse, with your business partner even, and close friends. You need to show your vulnerability. They will surely help you at this time if you do so. You seem to be coping so well with all of these problems and conflicts in your life that they don't even know how much you need help. In fact, this powerful solar eclipse in your sixth house with a Paravatanana yoga between Mercury and Venus in your seventh house shows that you need to take health consultation at this time. You need to finally put some emphasis onto your health well-being because it's suffering under this extreme stress you are experiencing. Consultations with experts, counselors, medical advisors, etc. will be very helpful to you. Take their advice and make major changes to your health and well-being at this time. It will put you in a much stronger position going forward. Because of Mercury's Paravatanana also to this Venus in your seventh house, there may be legal factors, confrontations, litigations ongoing that will experience a complete wipeout at this solar eclipse. You may, some of you, be able to get a successful conclusion, but some of you may not. All depends how your chart interacts with this eclipse. But either way, you need to cut your losses now. You need to focus on your own health, well-being, most definitely. Capricorn moon and Capricorn Lagna. This lunar eclipse in your 11th house is very important. It's quite emotional for you. Moon is your seventh lord, has everything to do with your partnerships. Are you on the same wavelength as your partner? Some ideals, some hopes and some wishes are breaking apart in your relationship. You have to stay on board with your partner's wishes at this time. You may feel as though you are losing trust in them because this is all about 11th house is about the future, where you see yourselves going together. So there is a need for a deep conversation with your near and dearest at this time, 26th of May. Also with your friendship circles, they are breaking apart. You are not on the same wavelength. You do not have the same ideals. If you are involved in anything to do with politics also, politics is letting you down. Your side of it, as it were, your camp, your tribe, politically is just not working for you anymore. So you're feeling a bit let down. This lunar eclipse puts your emotions on show and people see a completely different side of you in your network circles also. So it's about finding what you have in common with your friends and trying to cement some deep bond out of this fractured situation that is making you very upset at this time, 26th of May, and as I say, also impacting deep spousal relationship. The solar eclipse on the 10th of June is all about the Rahu factor influencing your fifth house. You're feeling in a risk-taking mood, but the solar eclipse wipes out an area that you've been hoping to move ahead in. If you've been wanting to start a new creative, artistic endeavor, it's going to seem blocked to you at this time. If you've been wanting to start a family issues with your children, there can be also blocks occurring around this moment that make you take stock of situation. If you have children, it's going to be mightily difficult because this Rahu eclipse shows that your children are having real difficulty in their life and they need so much of your energy to find security at this time. But perhaps no one's going to feel this eclipse more than students. Rahu, Sun, Moon, Mercury retrograde in your 5th house of education. It's going to be wiped out right in front of you. A course you'd wanted to do may be full. Something you'd wanted to go ahead with may not be possible. Don't be dejected by this, because Rahu is still powerful in your 5th house to show you the right educational course for you. 5th house also indicates romantic connections to other people that are not marriage situations right now. So those of you involved in any romantic connection, there's going to be a big change around this time. Once again, don't be upset by this. You are actually probably the instigator of it in any case. So you are feeling that it's not working as much as you would like. So you have to be honest and be tactful in your talking to anybody who you have romantic interest in at this time. Aquarius, Moon and Lagna. The lunar eclipse taking place 26th of May. All through May, actually, you will feel this effect in your career and status area is disturbing you. You're a very open person, very above board, but there's something underhand going on in your career situation, in your working environment, and it's disturbing you. This K2 moon, full moon eclipse will break everything out into the open. Confrontations will occur in your workplace, with your boss, with your co-workers. Everything is unexpected and emotional, and you just want to get away from it. You don't like this emotionality at all. But you have to incorporate this new information about your career environment. It's just not working for you now. Changes have to be made, and this new information will help you see who is on your side and who is not. Because, as I say, Scorpio brings out the secret information that you need to hear to make career and workplace decisions. The 10th of June solar eclipse brings into play your domestic situation. Many of you have wanted to make big domestic changes since last December, and you've not been able to bring them into manifestation. Now is the moment. It's a make or break decision which you have to make. Others of you, it's not that you can make any decision at all. Everything is taken outside of your control. Changes in your workplace directly impact on your domestic situation. You may have to give up on a move which you'd hoped to make. You may have to stall on a complete relocation plan. But for many of you, your situation in your home life is completely not working. It's not gelling with your public image, and it's not working for your public career either. So don't worry if you can't make changes now. You will ultimately renovate, move, and completely relocate between now and November. But just at the moment, certain plans, certain hopes have to be stalled. The most important factor, though, is that the sun, which is being eclipsed, is your spouse directly. So your spouse is having a great deal of difficulty accepting these changes in your home life. And if you are living with a partner, it's going to blow up around the 10th of June. Are you on the same plan, as it were, in regard to this domestic change and reshuffle? Because if you're not, you need to get spouse on board. You're the mover, you're the shaker. Rahu is in your 4th house, and your career is making all the difference to your spousal situation and domestic bliss. So the changes are going to come, Aquarius. Accept a complete change of domestic agenda at this time, and long term it will work out. The Parivartanan occurring is actually very good. Mercury Venus exchanging in your 4th and 5th house is very good for children situation. Some of you, maybe a new child is now on the way, or good things are happening with your children. Resolution of ongoing child factors will occur around this new moon. Pisces moon and Pisces Lagna. The lunar eclipse, Ketu and moon in your 9th house, is going to definitely impact your emotions in regard to people living at a distance. If you have children living away from you, they are impacted. Also, cousins, relatives, anybody female particularly who you have intimate connection with but who lives at a distance from yourself is going through a crisis now, and it's impacting on you. Also, father has a very difficult situation at the moment, and it's definitely impacting your peace of mind. But don't become afraid about any of these things. Ketu has given you tremendous insight spiritually in the last 6 or 7 months, and it's continuing now. You're able to find great insight and peace inside in your religiosity at this time. If you are in higher education, it's a make or break time. Something happens that throws you. Some new information comes to you that makes you think, are you on the right course? Should you change? Should you make a complete turnaround? No, you shouldn't. Stick with it. Rahu is powerful in your 3rd house. You are able to overcome any obstacles in your higher education. Do not despair. The solar eclipse on the 10th of June will once again bring domestic issues to the fore. The solar eclipse happens when Rahu eclipses the sun, who is of course your 6th house lord. So problems in your local environment, neighborhood come to the fore once again, and they impact on your domestic happiness because Mercury, Venus have a Parivartanan exchange. Venus in your 4th house at the moment. So you may feel as though some local factors in your neighborhood are going to impact on your peace and your happiness in your home. Do not be afraid of this. You will get more information as months go forward. Right now, all the information is eclipsed and you are not seeing the truth of it at all. Whatever you do, Pisces, watch your speech around both eclipses, particularly the solar eclipse, because Mercury is retrograde and combusts the sun, eclipsed by Rahu. Your mind is just not thinking. You're just spouting out everything completely, compulsively. It's going to affect relation with your spouse in a major way. Mercury is your 7th house lord. Be careful what you say. People will completely misunderstand you, and it will upset you deeply. The solar eclipse also stalls a business situation for some of you. Those of you who are self-employed, Mercury is your 7th house lord of self-employment and business. Being combust the sun, eclipsed by Rahu, some business situation comes to an end at this time. Some venture, some hope for a new venture has to be stalled. But it's a good thing because new information coming to you gives you bright ideas now for very lucrative factors going forward from now until November. You can start a brand new enterprise, maybe working from home, because Mercury has a Parivartanan with Venus in your 4th house of home. So you are highly creative, highly inventive at this time. You have no lack of courage. So let what is not working go, and some new venture, some new self-employment or business factor for those of you interested will definitely come between now and November. And any misunderstandings with your siblings which are coming up at this time will absolutely be resolved between now and November. Check out the predictions for the year ahead with a video on my channel on your screen right now, and also Jupiter right up until September. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.